Hey there, it's Janly, and today we're going to bust the myth that you're saving money waiting for the interest rate to drop before making a move or purchasing your next home. So for this demonstration, we're using mortgagenewsdaily.com for today's mortgage rates. We're also using a mortgage amortization calculator that's going to show us how much the homeowner has paid in interest by the end of the year. We're also going to make a few assumptions here, regardless of the changing scenarios. The down payment amount of 3.5%, loan term 30 years, property taxes 2.5%, home insurance 2,800 a year, PMI insurance 2,400 a year, HOA fee 600 a year. The PMI happens when the home buyer does not put down 20% in down payment. So let's say, for example, that the home price is $450,000. Interest rate is current rate 6.77%. If we use the mortgage amortization calculator, it's going to show us that total out of pocket for this household monthly for housing is 4,243.15. Now I've taken this information and put it into a spreadsheet so that we can compare side by side. As you can tell, there's a 450 sales price with down payment, loan amount, and there's also a 2% of the loan amount closing costs. Now, the closing costs is typically shouldered by the buyer. However, it can be negotiated for the seller to pay full or partial. It really depends on your market. Just check in with the professional real estate agent to see what's the best scenario for you. So the thing that we need to pay attention here is that by the end of this year, when the buyer has bought the home, they would have paid 29,257 in interest amount to the lender. Yet the same household who continues to rent for 2,400 would have paid 28,800 to the landlord at the end of the year, and that money you cannot get back. All right, so consider a scenario where you bought a home, the same sales price of $450,000, down payment amount the same, and you were able to get the seller to buy down the rate to 5.5%. Now your monthly payment went down to 3,800. At the end of the year, you would have paid 23,738 in interest rate, while the household that continues to rent is going to pay the same amount to the landlord, 28,800. Consider a scenario where you're waiting until next year to buy this same house. So in real estate, historically speaking, a house that is worth 450,000 today may not be worth 450,000 next year. A very conservative calculation of 3% appreciation rate, that home may be worth 463,500 next year. As you can tell, waiting to buy next year is going to increase the down payment amount. It's also going to increase the closing costs. It's going to increase the monthly payment. And it's also going to increase the amount interest that you pay the lender. Now, the last scenario where most people are waiting for to happen, let's say, for example, that the interest rate went down to 3.75% here. Yet, what happens when the interest rate goes down? Most of the time, based on history, there are gonna be more buyers out there bidding for the same house, and therefore, most likely the price of the home is going to go up in value. Let's say, for example, this same house is in a multiple bid, and you really need this house, so you paid $50,000 more for this home. And yes, the monthly payment and the overall shelter cost has lowered, yet you already paid $50,000 to, or promised to pay the lender $50,000 more than what the home is worth. And yes, you've lowered the interest rate down. However, as you can tell, If you bought this home in the middle of the year, you have paid 14,400 for 6 months to the landlord. So essentially, if we total that up from 17 to 50,000 and 14, you have paid 82,342 total just for waiting. So I'm hoping that this demonstration makes sense. And if you do want to calculate it yourself, feel free to do so. And if you have any questions, let me know. Keep in mind that this demonstration is just an example and should not be considered as applicable to your situation, just because different people will have different needs and different terms based on their scenario. So thank you so much. Have a good day.